Welcome back to another episode of our project series. Raina, what do we have today?
Today we have Upperhouse.
Upperhouse, wow. So I actually noted that the title, right, itself is No Kids, Just Vibes in Orchard District, right? This is actually a pretty interesting title. And are you actually serious when you mentioned that there's a two-bedder starting from 2 million?
Yes, actually for 2 mil plus, right, developers are actually going to price it at a very palatable quantum. That's what we hear say, you know. So I think it's actually a very good entry price for a 2-bedroom unit in this area. So this project is actually previewing this Friday on the 5th of July and the booking date is on 19th of July. So it's actually, I think by the time you see the video, we've already been to preview. So do reach out to us if you would like to have a look at the show flat.
Yeah, it's just a few more days, right?
Yeah, that's right. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in.
Let's go.
So Upperhouse is actually located at District 10. We're going to dive right in to explain a bit more about why District 9, 10, 11 actually calls for a bit of a higher price. It's usually located at the Ardmore area, Tanglin area, Nassim, and also the Stevens Road as well as the River Valley. But what actually happens is that it still differs a little bit in terms of pricing, which we will touch on later as well. So in District 10, where Upperhouse is located, it's actually near the MRT and it's around this area here. So for Upperhouse, we're going to actually explain a little bit more about District 9, 10 and 11 and how the prices actually vary. So using 19 Nassim and Riviere as an example, these both projects are actually 99 years, where 19 Nassim is at District 10 and Riviere is actually at District 9. What you will notice is that Nassim is actually a very more, I would say, prestigious address. And you can see that the PSF is also significantly different. It's a bit higher, right? It's about $500 PSF, averagely higher. And this translates throughout, even though for freehold as well as 99 years. At Boulevard 88, which is also a freehold project, as well as Avenir. So Boulevard 88 is also about almost $500 more expensive compared to Avenir. So translating this to current, right, what we foresee is that Upperhouse will also call for a slightly higher price compared to the upcoming 99-year River Valley launches.
So moving on, right, I'll be showing you a more detailed map which shows us exactly where this upcoming project is at. Upperhouse is actually located at 22 Orchard Boulevard and the view is promised to be spectacular as most of the views, right, are your neighboring vicinities areas such as your landed enclaves and botanic gardens and such. So this project itself is also conveniently accessible to Orchard Boulevard MRT at your doorstep, and it is also within minutes drive to Orchard Road where your lifestyle and shopping havens are also at. So where exactly does these surrounding areas have to offer for us? For instance, right, we know that we are actually super close to Orchard Road, or if you would like to have a chill evening, right, at Dempsey Hill, and even afterwards you want to take a stroll at Botanic Gardens with your loved ones. And let's be real, right, so right here, right now, this is Dempsey Hill and this is Botanic Garden, and then we also need to get our body checked annually, right, because you know health is actually gold, right? Health is wealth. So what we have here is actually a Gleneagles Hospital, which is very close proximity to Upperhouse. Over here, right, now we'll be showing what's around Upperhouse as well. See, there are so many things to share about what's nearby as well. For instance, right, Tanglin Mall is just a mere 2 minutes drive as well, and Ion Orchard, right, is also 4 minutes drive. And you also, if you fancy a movie night, why not go ahead at Shaw House, which is also 4 minutes drive away.
Everything's really so close by.
It's definitely very, very near. And also, like the previously we have talked about as well, New Baru is also very, very close near, very close proximity as well, so where you have all your dining areas as well. And if you like local delights as well, you can also go into Zion Riverside Food Centre at 11 minutes drive.
So next we'll be sharing more about the Singapore's master plan, which was just recently announced by the government. So as you can see on the Straits Times, right, Newton and Patterson area will be rejuvenated, including more homes as well as retail and also offices. So this means that, you know, I think we can potentially have more tenants requiring a home to rent in this area. And also I think once they rejuvenate this area, you get more vibrant, more people will be excited about going to Orchard. I mean, right now, maybe people will think that Orchard, it's, you know, not many people hate there at the moment, right, because of decentralization. But I think once with rejuvenation, people will be excited again to go towards Orchard. And you know, if you are buying an Upperhouse, right, I think you have first mover advantage, because I believe that those new houses located at Orchard will be really much more expensive compared to at Orchard Boulevard. But more importantly, I feel that despite being wanting to be near the hustle and bustle, right, I still want to go home to somewhere tranquil. So I still feel that Orchard Boulevard might be more suitable for me, because if I think about it, it's really near, but it's just one stop away, and you know, this area is like more residential area of Orchard.
I think it's more serene in a way, right? So instead of being in a bustling city as well, then you will want to be more laid back sometimes.
Yeah, so you kind of enjoy best of both worlds.
We'll be moving on to the project information. So the developer itself itself is by UOL and Singapore Land Group Limited. And the project name itself is, of course, Upperhouse at Orchard Boulevard. The tenure itself is 99 years. The address, like I've mentioned before, is 22 Orchard Boulevard. The total number of units is actually 301 units itself. The architect, right, is ADDP Architects LLP. The landscape consultant EcoPlan Asia, and project interior design is Mason Ong. Okay, so we also noted, right, why not? You know, right, there will actually be 6 commercial shops near the future park itself, and this is actually built by UOL for Upperhouse itself as well.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be very convenient.
Here are some of the developments that were originally built by the developers. So we have, for instance, right, the Pine Tree Hills, which was more than half sold, and then Mayor House, right, and Waterhouse itself, right, they were more than 94% sold. This is insane. So most of them are already sold out, especially Mayor House as well.
For sure, UOL has been a very good track record and trustworthy developer.
Their credential is actually up there already.
So this is the artist's impression of Upperhouse. As you can see, it's only one tower. It's actually very prestigious and very limited units. As you can see, this is the driveway. We have a dedicated road at Orchard Boulevard leading towards the entrance of Upperhouse. As you can see, the highlight of this project, right, is actually this botanical spa. You can see here, over here, there is actually a room dedicated for spa services. You can actually hire your own masseuse. Enjoy the facilities. There is water facilities here, you know, like you can just take a dip. There's changing rooms, locker rooms, everything is provided.
This is like an indoor spa, right, together?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Of course, the masseuse is not provided, but you know, if you were to hire a masseuse to your house, right, you don't have privacy, you know, the room is not right, the bed is not right. But over here, right, you have a dedicated room, so I think it really fits the profile of the buyers in this area. You know, they just want to unwind, relax, and they can do it all at the convenience of their home now.
Or you can actually call your hubby to be your personal masseuse as well.
Possible also. So this is the unit mix for Upperhouse. As you can see, 78% of the units, right, in the 1 and 2 bedroom collection under signature, and there are 774 1 plus study, 700 units for 2 bedroom premium, and 764 units for the 2 plus study. Something to know about the 2 plus study is that it's in the corner unit, so there's very good ventilation, which we will show you later at the floor plan analysis. For the 3 bedroom, we have the size is 1012, very comfortable size, and only 34 units. And as for the bespoke collection, the 4 bedroom, it's iconic location in the block, right, where they have special design, and there's only 31 exclusive units available. Moses, did you know that these 31 units, right, will even have their own car park?
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, later we will actually show you more.
Okay, moving forward, right, we'll be sharing you more on the site plan of Upperhouse. So Upperhouse, right, as you can see, the main entrance is actually over here. And then if you take note of number 1, right, this is actually your main arrival area whereby your guests will be able to alight over there as well. And also, right, we take note of number 5. This is actually your function room whereby you host your events and parties as well. And we also noted, right, there are 7 total pools, inclusive of hydro pools and indoor spa pools, which Waina actually has touched on just now. So these 2 indoor pools are actually over here. And then number 10, right, notably, this is actually our gym area where there is also a future park built by UOL itself also. Maybe in the future you can do some runs on your treadmill and see greeneries in future as well. Moving forward, we'll be sharing you more on the views of Upperhouse. Wow, Waina, I noted that this project really offers good view.
Yeah, that's right, because the developer and the architects have actually slanted the building in such a way, right, that they will actually maximize the views so that everybody can get as much unblocked views as possible.
So actually, if you are facing the northwest view, right, this is actually the Botanic Gardens view. And then whereas for northeast view over here, right, it offers you greenery and city views as well. And then whereas for the southeast view over here, this facing, you will be able to see the landed enclaves, which all the low-rise building will be there. So you are ensured to have somewhat of an unblocked view. Here's a close-up image of what we have just shared. So Upperhouse is actually over here, right? So we are actually surrounded by low-rise buildings and also some high-rise. As you can see, Camden Medical is also 17 stories, right? Then Orchard in Bel Air is 25 stories. Over here, the facing right itself is all those low-rise landed enclaves, and the Grange is 19 to 23 stories. But for us, right, we comprises of 35 stories. So anything that is above 25 stories, you're ensured to have good views as well. Okay.
So if you have a look at this image, right, actually shows you that at level 2 over here, we are actually typically at like a 6-story already because it's about 20 meters above ground. So it means that if you were to take the second floor unit, right, you can still see almost like an unblocked view because your Orchard MRT in front, right, is a very short building. So you will already see past it towards the Orchard side. So it's quite a distance before you actually reach the Camden area. Now also, if you notice, right, at level 28 to 35, we will actually have some visual screens towards the Orchard area. So when you look towards the north, you might have some block on the views. So with that said, I think that anything below 28 and above 18 will actually have the best views towards the Orchard and Botanic Garden area. So I think if you're not sure, right, most important is that you speak to us so that when it comes to unit selection, we can help you to maximize. It doesn't mean highest means the best in this particular area, depending on which side you're facing. So at Upperhouse, right, we actually are using very, very luxe materials. I had the opportunity to see the Showflat and very wowed by it. The materials that they have used, right, it's full marble for all unit types. You know, last time when we see Showflats, usually if there are marble, right, it's usually the 4-bedroom, and even then it's not very often we see at mass market projects. At Upperhouse, even from the first 1-bedroom, you already have full marble. The marbles are all from Turkey, so all imported marble. We are using very nice materials such as engineered timber. We have full granite for the powder room at the 4-bedroom. We are using Italy wardrobes from Caccaro as well as Rimadesio. You know, so all these materials actually play a very important factor when it comes to the look and feel of the unit itself, because you pay such top dollar, right, you're expecting something really good, and apart from paying for D10, you're actually getting very nice built-in materials such as the Rimadesio sliding doors and Nesto Media kitchen, which we will actually show you more pictures later on. So I wanted to say that Upperhouse is 474 square feet for the 1+ study. It has a proper bedroom and a study located closer towards the entrance. For assuming at 3,250, it is approximately 1.54. So how does it compare to the newer 1-bedrooms in D10 within 300 meters of an MRT? We pulled up 19 Nassim and Cascaden Reserve. So for the 1-bedroom analysis, we actually have 67 units, 2 stacks. Something to note that's unique for this project, right? The 1-bedroom actually doesn't have a balcony, so it's a more usable space, as well as being a harmonized project, right? 474 sounds small, but actually it's comparable to 500 over square feet compared to other projects that are pre-harmonized. So we would like to compare how does it stack up against the competition, right, nearby. We actually pulled up within 300 meters of an MRT nearby at D10. We have 19 Nassim as well as Cascaden Reserve. But we are actually not going to compare 19 Nassim for the fact that they do not have a study as well as they have a balcony. So it's not a very good comparison. Instead, we're going to compare with Cascaden Reserve. So comparing Upperhouse and Cascaden Reserve, you do notice that Cascaden Reserve has a very, very big balcony. I find it a bit excessive. For a 1-bedroom, right, space is very important. So we particularly like that Upperhouse doesn't have a balcony in this sense. And we have a study that is closer to the entrance, which you can use it as a flexi room. Like you can put your shoes, storage, even as a dry pantry. But more importantly, at Cascaden, right, what we notice is you notice that they have an open kitchen. So it means that this area is all a bit, I think it's a bit messy. When you have an open kitchen, very likely that it will be a bit messy. It's very unlikely you have a very, very neat kitchen unless you're that type. So it actually makes the entire living room and dining look messy to me. And when you cook, right, and you're just beside the living, it's going to be quite smoky and messy, I would feel.
Unless you want to have grease on your hand, or then go ahead with that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit messy. But also, I find that the ensuite is not really ensuite at Cascaden. You see, your master bedroom is here, right? You have to exit here or here to go to the bathroom. So it's not exactly convenient and ensuite. But of course, it's nice that they have a study just beside the master bedroom, which, you know, you can use it as a walk-in wardrobe as well. So, but with all this, right, I think small units, so we have to give and take. I would prefer this typical layout at Upperhouse, where you have a proper entrance here, and you enter, there's a kitchen by the side, separate from your dining and living area, not side by side. And we have a proper ensuite bathroom, which also has a common access. So all this makes it, like, to me, a more regular shape and, you know, better use of space. So for that reason, if we compare, because of price also, if you're assuming 3,250 for the Upperhouse, we were estimating around 1.5+ million, and that makes Cascaden quite expensive, almost 2 million. Yeah. So I think if you are an upgrader, you would like to enjoy the lifestyle at Orchard, or even just for investment, right, this will make more sense in terms of our rental yield.
Next, we'll be sharing with you more on the 2-bedroom type. So as you can see, right, we have 4 different types of unit type, and notably, right, BP1 and BP2 are actually the same size, whereas for the 2+ study, right, BPS1 and BPS2 are 764, which are the same size as well. So for this, right, and we are assuming that the BP1 and BP2, right, based on 3,250 per square feet, is about $2.275 million. And we also noted that it's a dumbbell layout and the kitchen itself are both enclosable. However, we also note that for this, right, the ventilation, there are none actually, based on over here. And for this stack, right, for BP1 and BP2, right, it will be actually facing Orchard Boulevard or towards the landed unblocked views itself. And the reason why, right, we highlighted BPS1 as our top choice for 2 bedrooms, right, is actually due to the fact that the layout itself is traditional layout and the kitchen, right, is actually enclosed. So this is something that you don't really see nowadays in the market as well for 2 bedrooms. And due to the fact that there are good ventilations, which we will share with you as well, especially in the master bedroom.
I think what we want to say is that if at launch, because now we don't know the price, right? And if you can buy anything lower than 2.6, it will be a very good deal because Cascaden Reserve is already asking for 2.3, but the layout is not as good.
Yeah, not exactly.
Not as good. So if you can buy anything in that range, right, the 2.3 to even 2.5 range, is a no-brainer to buy, basically. Must give them assurance that because of the transacted, it's already this and it's not as good. This one is a no-brainer to buy because Cascaden is also 99-year.
So we'll be sharing with you more on the analysis of the 2-bedroom. So we noted that if you were to be able to get something that is around the 2.6 million range, right, with a better layout, we feel that it will be a good buy as Cascaden Reserve itself, right, is already transacting the highest from 2.32, right, to actually 2.6 million despite the not so ideal layout. So we'll dive right into the comparison of the Upperhouse and Cascaden Reserve itself. So for Upperhouse and Cascaden Reserve, right, we noted that although the square feet size is about 107 square feet difference, right, but the Upperhouse layout is actually more ideal. Why so, right? It's because, right, the fact that this one, that when you came in from here, there is actually an enclosable kitchen whereby you can enclose the kitchen over here. And the good thing about this is that actually it faces the Botanic Gardens and landed enclave view like we have mentioned before. Whereas for Cascaden Reserve, right, yes, although you have a good layout over here like you can see, right, the walk-in wardrobe itself, they have this good thing, but the fact that it's exactly the same like what the 1+ study for Cascaden Reserve has as well. So we have an open kitchen concept, right, and then whereby your living and dining areas are actually together, so which makes it feel like cluttered again, right?
Yeah, very similar to the 1-bedroom.
And then what we have over here is also, look at this. This is a huge balcony. Why would we actually need one big balcony, right? Whereas I think that they can actually factor in, like, to make it
more usable,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
And also the aircon latch itself, we're considering that it's a pre-harmonization, right? It's also factoring in for the square feet itself.
So for the 2+ study, similarly, we're going to compare to Cascaden Reserve because it's actually one of the closest comparison we have in that area. So if you look at Upperhouse, we have an enclosable, actually it's an enclosed kitchen. You notice there's a sliding door here. Very rare for a 2+ study, and there's actually a ventilation for windows at this area as well. Very rare. I think we have not seen in the recent launches where 2+ study with ventilation and also enclosed kitchen. So this is one of the very rare layouts, but do take note, actually in Upperhouse there's 2+ study, right? One doesn't have an enclosed kitchen. One is enclosable, the other one is enclosed. So over here we also notice that you can potentially make this area into your walk-in wardrobe or a study, giving you the option to have a bigger master bedroom. So all this actually very thoughtfully thought out by the architects and developer. But comparing to Cascaden, right, we noticed that the good thing is I saw they have a private lift, so it really depends on whether you like it or not. But I think for upmarket projects, right, this is something that buyers will actually look for. They prefer the privacy, so this I think is considered a good thing. They also have a walk-in wardrobe, but similar to all Cascaden projects, right, they have a open concept kitchen, which I think by now you realize we don't really like. So, you know, if you consider all things like this, right, and if it's for own stay, and if you factor in the post-harmonization, right, Cascaden Reserve actually comes up to be like 870 square feet, but not considering that we haven't included the very big balcony. And it has a price tag of about 2.8 million. So if today we can buy Upperhouse at about 2.4, 2.5, or even up to 2.8, right, with a better layout, I think it's a no-brainer that we can go ahead with this purchase because lifestyle in Orchard is so different, right? I mean, if you compare to River Valley, I really think that people who live in Orchard, it's a different lifestyle. It still has a prestige. If you ask anybody who travel, right, where do you stay? Orchard, they will be like, wow, it's just something different.
So for the 3 bedrooms, right, Upperhouse itself is actually 1,012 square feet and Cascaden Reserve is 1,152 square feet. And for Upperhouse itself, the estimated price that we presume will be at 3.3 to 3.5 million. At Cascaden Reserve, the average transacted price was actually from 3.5 to 4 million itself. So that's like a price of 600k difference. So for Upperhouse, it's really fully ventilated. Why we say that is because if you look over here, the yard area, there's actually a window, and for bathroom 2 and master bath, there are also windows itself, so it's actually pretty good. And also to allow natural sunlight to come in, the developer actually builds the glass panel for you already. Okay, whereas as for Cascaden, yes, although there's yet again the private lift lobby, which is actually good for privacy, but we noted that one main difference is Upperhouse actually has a WC, whereas for Cascaden Reserve they do not have. So in terms of family wise, Upperhouse, that we will actually recommend itself.
Yeah, I think families will really appreciate the fact that they have a separate helper's room and WC. I think it's almost like a prerequisite. So we're going to highlight more about the 4-bedroom bespoke collection. I wanted to highlight Verde Esmeralda. It's really very nice. The powder room, it's full granite using this stone. So can you imagine, the countertop, the walls, everything is in this full granite. It's super beautiful. It's definitely going to be a statement piece for your guests the moment they enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gives off the luxurious feeling, right?
It's really very luxe. And this marble is also my first time seeing it. It's called the Rosso Levanto. It's going to be the bar counter as well as I think it's at the kitchen, at the dry kitchen. So it's super nice. I think, if you have a chance, go and feel it, the marble, it feels very exquisite. So this was just some of the things that I want to highlight to you. Of course, there is also the MS Grey marble that's at the toilet and in the master bedroom. This is really very nice also. I think they have chosen very special materials for this bespoke collection, which I'm very excited to bring you guys to have a look. So do remember to make an appointment with us. So for the 4-bedroom, they are actually using Rimadesio from Italy. This is the sliding system, the sliding doors.
It's the kitchen one, right?
No, this one is the master bedroom.
Oh, master bedroom.
Super nice. So I think you know why Opus has this similar sliding doors, but they used it at the kitchen. So this is something that, of the more upmarket projects, they will choose to use something that is branded. It's not just a sliding door, it's a Rimadesio Italy-made sliding door. And this was the one that I was showing you just now, the counter. So you can see the bar counter, This is the material just now I was highlighting to you, as well as the countertop. Overall, it really gives off a very luxurious feel. So for this project, they're also using Jessie as well as Laufen for their sanitary wares. Both are also European made, one from Italy, one from Switzerland. They are using Vizuk appliance throughout the entire 1 to 4 bedrooms. And we are using Kakaru Italy-made wardrobes for the 1 to 3 as well as the 4-bedroom common. So now we move on to the 4-bedroom analysis. For Upperhouse, we're going to actually compare it to Riviere for the reason that it's quite similarly sized and it's something that we can compare with the River Valley area. So for Upperhouse, we actually have a very big living and dining area, as you can see over here once you exit the private lift. And then just now you saw the picture of the dry kitchen. And then you have a living and dining area that's super spacious, followed by the balcony over here. So what we wanted to highlight to you is this area here is actually utilizing an interlocking system that Upperhouse architects have used to ensure that you can have a very high ceiling of 6.35 meters and it's seamlessly interlocking. Later I'll show you a picture to show how it works. But because of that, it makes the entire living area very opulent. And something to highlight is that all the bedrooms are fully ensuite. Here, the master, here, a junior master, and here is the master bedroom. All bedrooms, 4 bedrooms have ensuite bathroom, which is something that I find quite important. Unlike Riviere, if we move on to have a look, Riviere has 2 common rooms here sharing a bathroom. Okay, the master bedroom has walk-in wardrobe, and then if you see, they have a big balcony. So I'm not sure about the need for such a big balcony, but it really does take up quite a lot of space. then followed by another bedroom over here. So not all bedrooms have ensuite, and we also take into consideration that Riviere is counting the aircon latch into their strata area, and they're transacting at already a high of 6.7 million. So we're expecting the Upperhouse, the 4-bedroom bespoke series, to be at the 7 mil plus. So considering that it's at a different area, right? Riviere being not at D10, usually, as we mentioned earlier, will be a slightly higher PSF. I still think this is a very good buy at 7 plus if you're looking to upgrade to the D10 area on a single floor plate. So at Upperhouse, for the 4-bedroom, there are 2 different layouts. On the even stories, you notice that we have a little bit of an L-shaped layout, and for the odd stories, which is what we mentioned earlier, which is my preferred layout, is something like this. This is the reason because the void space here accommodates the high ceiling over here, and the void space here actually accommodates the high ceiling over here. This is what we call the interlocking system, which I show you over here. So you can see, right, this is the design that they have. Every 2 floors, there will also be this balcony fins, which we will explain to you later in terms of unit selection, right, which is the preferred one. So we mentioned just now that we prefer the unit types on the odd floors, which is DP2, because I find that having the living and dining side by side actually gives it a bigger and more spacious feel compared to this L shape. So visually, as you enter, right, and then when you look from this direction, it looks like that only. So you can't really see this part, and I find that it's a bit of a waste. So I have a preference. My top choice would be the bigger DP2, the bigger living room space with the dining. But my first choice being this one, because if you notice just now, there's fins, right? As you enter the balcony, the fins on the side will not obstruct your view. But if you enter and with the fins here, right, it will actually obstruct your view a little bit, So I think as a preference, right, I will go for the level 7, 11, 15, 23, 27, and 31, 35 first, followed by the second choice, the ones here with this layout but with fins in the front, followed by this L-shaped layout with fins at the side, and then followed by the ones in the front. So for this, right, we actually really prefer the bigger living room and dining side by side. And if you notice, if you enter through this area, right, you will have fins either on this side or this side. So as our first choice, we prefer that the fins is on the side so that the view is not obstructed. But as our second choice will be the one with a bit of a view obstruction, followed by the L-shaped layout of the living room and dining. And then it will be the third choice with the fins at the side, followed by the fourth choice with the fins facing the front. So I think this may be a bit too technical, but if you would like, please do contact us. When it comes to unit selection, we will make sure that we choose the best one possible for you. So with this, we have actually come to the end of our sharing on the Upperhouse. Just a reminder, the preview starts at 5th of July and the booking day is on 19th of July. So do reach out to us if you have any further questions, and I think we'll be most happy to share with you all the insights that we've got from Upperhouse to help you make a good selection on booking day. Thank you very much.
See you.
See you.